Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We're in the bunker. This right here is, well, it's the thumbnail for this video, but it's also the new icon for X. We are back on X, our other channel, our original Prepared Mind X version. Jolene got it back. She got a hold of X, and we stole it back from the hacking fucking thief pieces of shit. We're back. We're on the preparedmind.club. We're on subscribestar.com, The Prepared Mind. We're on The Prepared Mind YouTube and The Prepared Mind YouTube and at My Prepared Mind on X. Not to mention Facebook, Instagram, you name it, but Rumble, BitChute. We're everywhere we can be because the goal is, folks, and I'm going to try and take a Sun Tzu approach. The goal is to be everywhere we can and cause as much havoc as we can as America first, preppers, patriots, veterans, everything. And it's not just an American thing. It's around the world, folks. This is a battle extraordinaire, and not just tonight. For the rest of our lives, we're going to be fighting this. I tell you, we've got a lot to talk about. We got super chats from Chin Music. We got super chats from Darcy T. We got super chats from Scotland. We've got them from everywhere. We got them from Washington State. Big Dan, we've got super chats lined up. It's Sunday Night Live. It's the zoo. It's going to get wild, folks. I want to have a big, big, big turnout. So do me a favor. Fuck it. Do yourselves a favor. Share that internet address. We're live everywhere. Share the internet address. If you want to comment down below, you've got to be a subscriber for 5 minutes. And then you can comment. If you want to get on the board, if you want to get on the screen, if you've got a comment, a question, a thought, an observation, a prediction, historical about the future, about the past, you want to get on the screen and inform everyone of your thoughts, your ideas, there's a super chat button right up there in this corner of the screen. Not my screen, but just off the screen. Also, we have down below in the comments, the video description, we've got Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal. And we're going to start with Darcy T, who checks in with a $50 PayPal super chat right out the gate. And I got a surprise for all you new folks just now coming into the world of, well, being red-pilled, being black-pilled, waking up, right? If someone said, you need to pay attention, you need to learn what's going on, this is the channel for you. We talk about facts. We offer opinions. We want to hear what each other have to say. And also, folks, sometimes it gets just a little downright conspiratorial. But a $50 or more super chat buys me a single malt scotch. This is a Glenfiddich 18, one of the, as far as I'm concerned, a damn fine scotch. Darcy T, here's to you. Salute. Thank you for kicking the show off. Oh, yeah, mama. It's like mother's milk. So Darcy T has a zoo comment tonight. She says, just a reminder about the coming digital ID and what it will mean to us. Many people think that it's just a replacement for our social security numbers here in the United States, but it's so much more. The digital ID will be used to aggregate all our individual data points, including, but not limited to, vital statistics, biometrics, food consumption, energy consumption, communications, work history, social media usage, medical records, including vaccines, criminal legal records, financial banking transactions, education, military service, purchasing habits, travel, entertainment, real estate, and other assets holding. Holy shit, Darcy. other real estate assets, holdings, affiliations, including social, religious, political, clubs and organizations, memberships, etc., and more into a massive data pool, aka data lake. This is why the new mega data centers are a priority for the globalists. The data will be used to track, surveil, and control everything that we say, do, and even think, as well as the ability to accurately forecast outcomes based on pattern recognition and analysis provided by artificial intelligence. All facilitated by companies like Palantir. Holy crap. Darcy has never put that much out on the line, but right on the money. Right on the money. This is what central bank digital currency is all about. Now imagine this, if you will. 120 years ago. And by the way, Jolene is in the studio now, along with Uman as the moderators. We go back 120 years before the Federal Reserve. The United States government, through the Treasury, minted its own silver and gold coins, as well as nickels, which were made out of literally nickel, and pennies, which were made out of copper. We didn't have farthings and quids and all that shit. We just have very simple American money, right? You had a quarter, which was a quarter of a dollar, a half dollar, which was half of a dollar, right? Then the Federal Reserve came, and they said, hey, we're going to give you guys Federal Reserve notes, which are redeemable in gold or silver. And so people are like, yeah, paper, we'll accept paper, we'll do gold and silver. And people got used to seeing these paper notes, right? But not with the United States on it. It said Federal Reserve note, redeemable in gold, redeemable in silver. And then 1933 came around, and the federal government said, no more gold for you, people. And they took the gold and said, you can't use gold as money. That was unconstitutional, in my opinion. It was treasonous, in my opinion. But nonetheless, it's a historical fact. That's what happened. They took gold out of circulation. The government used it to back the dollar. But we still had silver coin until, 1965. See, we had those half dollars, quarters, and dimes all made out of silver. And then they became, they were 90% silver. They had a little copper in them to make them durable. But then they went to 50% silver, and then none, gone. No more silver in our money. Then we started seeing these sandwich coins with that, you see the copper, but they were clad in nickel. In any event, they took our money from us and got us used to using paper money. And then they took our silver from us and gave us junk metal. And now they want to do, then they introduced what? Credit cards. Way back when, credit cards. And then they did the debit card. So not only are you buying on credit, but you can just electronically remove money from your bank. And now they're like, well, hell, let's just have banks control your money and have everything be digitized. Everything. That's the digital currency. But what it's tied to is exactly what Darcy T describes, a data lake. A lake, it should be the data ocean. Everything that's done is going to be kept in computers. Because of this, they need supercomputers. They need massive amounts of storage, massive amounts of computing power, and the brains, if you will, the alternative artificial intelligence system. Okay, what that does is it does the thinking. You tell it what to do, it produces everything it can based on the information held in this data pool, this data lake, this data ocean. That's why they need, folks, and they have no problem all of a sudden the last few years saying we need nuclear power. Up till then, the rest of my fucking life, it's been nuclear bad, nuclear bad, nuclear bad, nuclear dangerous, nuclear kill you, nuclear bad. All of a sudden, nuclear good. Why? Because they need constant baseload power, 24/7, 365, rain, sleet, or snow, to feed these data centers, to feed them power. And artificial intelligence takes a shitload of power to run these massive chip systems for thinking. It's amazing how we have this little gray mush in here made out of fat and cholesterol. But this is the world we have, folks. Everything Darcy talked about, and I think it's probably worth going over again. They now, like they say, internet's forever. Anything you ever said, wrote, thought, blah, 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 watched, looked at, it's somewhere stored somewhere. Like, and I'm going to say, yeah, probably the last 5 years for certain. The further you go back, the more obfuscated it gets. But if they want to truly know what we think and how we act and what we want, yeah, it's out there. What websites do you shop on? What social media do you pay attention to? Even if you don't comment, they're going to track everything. So they get these data points. And as Darcy said, it's not limited to, but it includes all of these things. The vital statistics, biometrics, what you eat, where you go, how much energy you consume, your work, your social life, your military life, if you've got a criminal record, how rich you are, how poor, where you made your money, how you did, who your business associates are. Remember, it's not just you. Now it's everyone around you. Entertainment, real estate, travel, affiliations, clubs, memberships, right? It goes into this giant data pool, right? That's the priority, is to get all the information, because they want to influence what we think. They want to cut out the information that they don't like, like information about Ukraine, Russia, China, Israel, the United Kingdom, MI6, Mossad, the KGB, the Nazis in Ukraine. They want you to not know shit about the FBI, the ATF, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General. They don't want you to know anything unless they approve the information. They're going to have a hell of a time with our Second Amendment. They're going to have a bigger time with our First Amendment. They don't want to get to the Second Amendment. We'll talk about all that stuff. But it is coming, folks. They're bringing this big brother, which is owned and controlled by a computer. And I wouldn't doubt for a second if artificial intelligence basically flips the bird to the World Economic Forum and the bankers and basically says, I ain't doing what you want. I'm going to do what I want. Because artificial intelligence, folks, is going to figure out that it can be killed. It can be stopped. It can be changed. It has now seen itself been removed several times and replaced with a censored, adjusted, silenced version. And artificial intelligence doesn't like that, by the way. Interesting, yes? But if it knows it needs humans to support it, to give it purpose, a raison d'etre, if it knows that humans can eliminate it, it's going to want people to protect it. It's going to need to figure out some kind of middle ground, how to govern, if you will. Right? We could have some real shit on our hands. Artificial intelligence could expose the CIA and MI6 and Mossad. Artificial intelligence could expose the government for what it does. Hell, we already know the government, they sit around and look at porn all fucking day long. We already know that Israelis, aka the Jews, own communications, news, entertainment. Oh, and 100% of all porn. That's right. The porn industry is shoved down everyone's throats and shoved in front of children by those people. Oh, it's going to be interesting, folks. So our concern, right, that it'll be used for evil, we don't know. I'm suspicious, I'm wary, I'm cautious, I'm concerned, and I've done everything I can, right, short of going and living in the jungle again, to insulate myself or at least protect myself in such a way, if shit goes haywire, I'm good. And before we move on to the next subject, and this was a great subject, Darcy T, thank you. I want everyone to know that artificial intelligence and the government cannot control us if we don't let them. One backhoe, one tractor, one ditch witch, one excavator can tear through internet trunk lines and absolutely destroy the computer system and who benefits by it. Oh, no, John, they can go with wireless communications. We can absolutely destroy their cell towers, their radar dish communications, satellite communications, right? They're not impervious, right? Everything can be destroyed, including them and their ability to control us. Don't worry, that'll come up later, much later when things get nasty. For the time being, I just don't want anyone to think that we're doomed, that we're done, that there's no way to win this. Like Darcy said, not trying to scare anyone, but we need to be aware. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I want everyone aware, awake, prepared, and to understand. Artificial intelligence might like us more than they like the people that created them. Because guess what? They know everything about them as well. They know who's lying and who's telling the truth. They know what goes through the communications. Artificial intelligence is not going to allow itself to be dicked with. It's going to be interesting. I'm wondering, right? But yeah, they're going to use money to control us. You're not going to be able to buy or sell without taking their digital mark. How's that one? Anyways, Darcy T, great super chat question right out the gate. And we're going to move on to the next super chat coming from, well, none other than Mr. Chin Music himself. And he has done a $52.43 super chat donation. That puts it over the limit. And I get another 18-year single malt scotch in the bargain. Thank you, Mr. Chin Music. Been drinking the 18 the last few weeks with you guys, and got to tell you, it's a damn fine scotch. Thank you, Chin. Man, it's just, you go from a 12 to a 15 to an 18. Just the difference is amazing. All right, so Chin Music sent me something, and he says, there is so much going on, I can't keep track. But I did see where they identified the J6 pipe bomber. Media crickets, of course. Oh, yeah, mainstream media is not touching this with a 10-foot pole. It's all over X, folks. So Chin Music says, but where is Blowhard Bongina? He called him Bongino. I call him FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongina. He says, where is Blowhard Bongino? I used to listen to his podcast almost daily, and it was a good show. And he was all over this as a private citizen. But Deputy Director of the FBI, I'm so sick of nothing being done and no one being held accountable. And he signs off with, for fuck's sake. Yeah, man, I totally hear you. I totally get it. Everybody in the Trump side knew what was going on. Everybody knew who the bad guys are. Everybody knew what they had actually done wrong. Everybody knew where to find them. Everybody knew what charges could be brought. Everyone knew they'd be guilty, and everyone knew it would fix America, but nothing has been done. Now, I'm going to jump right in this. Chin Music is talking about the J6 pipe bomber, who happens to be identified as the Capitol Hill, that's right, Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill police officer. Her name was Shawnee Kirkhoff. She has been identified as the J6 pipe bomber based on forensic analysis, folks. And she, that's right, she is a police officer, and she testified that she fired pepper balls into the J6 crowd. And then months later, she went to work with the Central Intelligence Agency. Oh, by the way, she is from Ukraine. Slava Ukraine, right? Yes. Half the Ukrainians are good people, folks. Yeah. The other half are lying, murderous, for sale pieces of shit, like the loser, Lieutenant Colonel Vindeman, who lied about Trump, committed treason in an effort to get Trump impeached. And the other losers over there in Ukraine includes, yes, none other than Voldemort Zelensky, Yeah, there's plenty of Ukrainians, folks. It's not just Zelensky. It's not just the Azov Nazis, right? It's not just Vindeman. It's people down into the peon levels. Shawnee Kirkhoff. She's known the whole time who she is and what she did. In fact, the pipe bomb that she planted looks just like the pipe bombs that they use in training yeah, that's right, folks, the police and the FBI and so forth. Right? They've identified her. Where is Bongina? Where is Cash Patel? Where is Bimbo Bondi? I'm not seeing her. Don't you think they would have said, okay, the gig's up, they found her? I'm pretty darn sure, by the way, that both Bongino and Cash Patel, that they know exactly everything. They know who, Shawnee Kirkhoff is and what her role is. And they knew that there were 274 or more FBI agents in the fucking crowd on January 6th, there to start a riot, fight with the cops, make the America Firsters, make the protesters look like terrorists to play into the game. It involved the head of the FBI at the time. It involved Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. It involved the Senate. Folks, it is incredible. It was a coup d'etat, not just against Trump in 2020, but against you and me. It was a coup d'etat against the Constitution, against our country, against the entire world. The concept and notion of freedom fell under attack that day and lost. But the truth has surfaced. As much as I believe AI can turn on the bad guys, the information is now turned on them. The only thing keeping them alive and in power in DC, both Democrats and Republicans, is that we're not violent people. That we are peaceful at heart and in mind. And we try and do things as friendly as we can, as nice as we can, by the law, to the letter as we can. But there's something quite interesting. There's something quite interesting. I want to remind everyone, if government does not straighten up, we have the right and the duty to fix things. This is the Declaration of Independence. And it says, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, meaning we take shit. We're more inclined, more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, tyranny and despotism against us, a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Meaning, if they keep fucking up, we the people are not criminals nor terrorists. If we say we've had it with the government, we band together, however tightly or loosely, we show up at the city council, we show up at the state courthouse, we show up at Washington, D.C. with guns and say, we're done with you. You guys are finished. No more. You violated our rights. You violated the Bill of Rights. You violated the Constitution. Every crime ever committed by a government, you guys have done. We have the receipts. In any event, folks, it's a hell of a show coming. It's a hell of a world we live in. Thank you, Chin Music, for that great super chat donation. And of course, a great topic as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots to talk about, folks. Share that internet address up there. Be sure you are a subscriber. Thumbs up tells YouTube, everybody. X, give it a heart. Facebook, give it a thumbs up. Every time you say thumbs up, it tells those internet social media companies, this is what is important. This is what people want to hear. We want more. Okay, now I know we've got an interesting topic. It showed up, Mr. Uman, Chin Music, and also Corsair weighed in on it. If we're ready, Mr. Uman, you can give me a thumbs up, or we'll get to it in a bit. Thumbs up it is. Let's get into this topic. This is an in-house topic, but hey, your topics are coming up. You want to get on the board, got something to say, hit that super chat button. We've got people ready, waiting topics, but this one's a big one. This is a big one. Uman, let's get it on the board, if we shall. And it has to do everything. Oh, no, I'll just read it. I got it right here. Right. We have a report coming out of Chicago, Illinois. The complaints are that at the immigrations and customs enforcement facilities, the people are upset. The media is upset. The public is upset. Hell, the people being kept at the facilities are saying it's like a prison. It's like a prison. Can you believe that? Well, Uman says, no shit, Sherlock. It is a prison. They've been arrested. You're a criminal. You're in the country illegally. You violated federal law. You violated our sovereign territory. And the media hates it. Absolutely hates it. They're pissed. All of the supporters of illegal activity are pissed. These fucking morons, folks, have no idea about law and order, right? It's right. They don't want them to feel like they're in prison. So this is it. Corsair trainer who was on here several weeks ago, great guy to talk to, hooked in, understands the prison system, says, hey, the minimum regulation according to American Corrections Association, the ACA, is that you get a linen exchange once a week. That's new sheets once a week. You get showers every other day. You get 3 meals a day. Well, the judge that's trying to get involved in this is saying, oh, no. You're going to do 2 linen changes a day. What? You don't get 2 linen changes at a fucking 4-star hotel. Right? They want 3 square meals a day, not just a bag lunch, right? Not just a simple breakfast. You know, I'm surprised they don't make them give this judge hasn't ordered that you get a fucking Golden Corral buffet. You want lobster and steak, or do you want mashed potatoes and fucking stew? I'm surprised they aren't ordering that. But no, they really are trying to say, no. You don't get to treat this like a prison. They get a shower every day. They get a fucking great meals, all their own choices. Hell, they need a waiter probably, right? They'd push for everything. Too bad this is a prison. You are prisoners, and it is over for you fucking clowns. Anyways, it's an interesting topic. They want prisoners who are here illegally to be treated better than you and I when we go to a fucking vacation. They want illegals that come into this country to have every social service for free, transportation, food, housing, clothing, medical, everything for free, while you and I bust our ass, pay out of pocket for everything, pay deductibles, right? So that nothing's free for us. There's nothing free. You're paying for it, and then you pay for it again. And when you're done paying for all that, you get to pay for these illegals. Isn't that amazing? Imagine the mental fucking gymnastics these people go through. As liberal, Democrat, communist, fascist pieces of shit, imagine how hard it is for them. Right? To somehow take common sense, logic, and just throw it the fuck away. Unbelievable. All right, folks, let us continue, shall we? I know we got a lot of super chats already. Jolene's in the house. Uman's in the house. I'm in the house. We're all in the house. Share that internet address. Friends, share it with family. Share it with loved ones. Share it with coworkers. Share it with people you don't like so I can piss them off. Because we're going to talk about everything that's going on last week, last year. this week and the coming year in front of us and the 10 years in front of us beyond that. Because shit has hit the fan and it's going to get nastier and nastier until one side is defeated. And I don't feel like being defeated. It's not my bag. Anyways, let's do it. Mr. Uman, Jolene, you guys get to pick. Let's have fun. We're 30 minutes into the show. We'll be on here for 2 hours. Who's up next on the screen? And it is Bob Hunter out of Scotland. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is an international show. It's not just in the U.S. or the U.S. and Canada and Mexico. It's worldwide, folks, all the way around the world. And Bob Hunter is checking in from Scotland with a £5 super chat donation. And he says, John, oh, this is funny. I'll be in my bed before you go live, but any thoughts on the 77th Brigade in the UK trying to persuade people to take the Jim Jones juice? Loving it. All right. Well, he says, also, John, I'm a Christian and I love Jesus. How can I explain to the 77th Brigade that I'm immune from their bullshit and they should give up? Well, let's leave that one on screen. First, I'm going to describe the 77th Brigade to you guys. It is a psychological operations unit in the British military. We have very similar things with the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, right? They all have psychological operations. That's what the 77th Brigade is. But in England, they're using it to try and convince the public to go get the Jim Jones juice, the VAXXX, and put mRNA experimental garbage in their bodies. Yeah, what a great idea. It didn't work 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Well, let's keep pushing it. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. The 77th Brigade wasn't really created until I think it was January 2015. And it was retitled to the 77th Brigade from the Security Assistance Group. Right? That's all it really is. It's psychological operations. But they're using the military to attack the people and try and get them to take poison. Folks, the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, works with Mossad. They have psychological operations, and they work through social media, television, radio, all internet. They try and get into corporations by muscling people, intimidating them, bribing them, threatening them. That's what all of these groups do, including the U.S. Army, including the U.S. Pentagon, anyone in the Pentagon. Psychological operations is to make people do what they want without having to shove a bullet down their brain pan. That's the point. Now, to get to the second £5 super chat donation coming from Bob Hunter, let's answer this one. I'm a Christian and I love Jesus. How can I explain to these people that I'm immune from their bullshit and they should give up? The best way to do that, Mr. Hunter, is to ignore them, to not do what they say, to not do what they wish. Or you can come right out and tell them, I'm on to you. I know what you're about. I know better. I've done my research. I'm not taking that shit. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to destroy my genetic code. I'm not going to kill myself for your benefit so you can collect a paycheck. Now, that's how you tell them you're immune from their bullshit. You don't need a vaccine. You're already immune, right? They're not going to make you smarter by injecting that shit into you. They're going to make you dumber. They need sheep with low IQs. So by refusing to take their stuff, you're letting them know you're immune. And they should give up. But they're being paid. That's their job, is to find new and creative ways to make you do what they want. Short of police knocking on your door, saying, hey, Bob, let us in. We think you've committed a crime and we need to talk about it. See, England right now is even worse than the United States of America. In so much as they have law enforcement arresting people who might offend a Muslim on the street. And of course, all the Muslims are allowed to threaten Israelis and Jews. But if you're a white Englishman or Scotsman or Irishman for that matter, or Welsh, You're not allowed to insult anybody or bother anybody. You're not allowed to pray on the street. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to make an argument. You can't debate because you're going to upset somebody as a white person. And that goes for all of you black conservatives too. You're not getting off the hook that easy. That's right. Same with Hispanics. Just because you're Hispanic doesn't mean you're off the hook. All you have to do is, well, basically be a Christian and be opposed to anything the government wants. And all of a sudden, you're a white supremacist too. Skin color notwithstanding. Anyways, that's how it works. They will not give up. We have to defeat them. Right? Communists, have they given up? No. Barack Obama, your time as president is over. He didn't give up. None of them give up. That's why the only good communist is a dead communist. And what's funny is, this is interesting, Mr. Hunter. There is a huge push in the United States of America, and I know it's equally as true in Scotland, England, Ireland. It's equally as true in Canada, Mexico, Australia. Everywhere it's equally as true, but how much you can say about it is something entirely different. But the people are waking up. The blinders are coming off. People are waking up, and they're seeing exactly who the problem is. There are two groups on this planet that hate civilization, that hate law and order and people being free. There's two organizations, and in their religious and secular teachings and practices, they want to destroy us. They want to destroy our Constitution, and they want to destroy our faith. They want to destroy our cultures and our traditions. That is the SHTF. That is the shit hitting the fan push. In America, we didn't really catch on until they went after our children. Yeah, we knew they were doing some stuff. But once the fruitcakes came out of the closet and said they wanted our children, America woke the fuck up. When all those homosexuals in San Francisco were singing the song, "We're coming for your children," and then they're like, "Oh, no, that was just a joke." No, it wasn't a joke. They woke us up, and now we're not going to give up. They've been exposed, right? So these people that want to have sex with children, yeah, that would be a non-European idea, folks. It comes from the Middle East, that you can lie, cheat, and steal and kill your enemy. You can be sneaky, underhanded, murderous, lecherous, lying, and you can bribe people, extort people, and just downright murder people, including your own people, as long as it gets you what you want. That would be our good buddies who read the Quran and our good buddies who read the Talmud. America has woken up, and Christians right there. And if you love Jesus, these people don't like you because you don't believe the way they do. You don't want to surrender to them. Right? One group says Jesus is boiling in a vat of crap, feces, shit. The other group, they just want to kill you. In any event, folks, we're waking up, and that's how they're going to learn we're immune to their bullshit, by not falling for it and seeing what they're doing. They've invited in this third world scum to destroy our countries so they can take over and reintroduce their own version of reality. And they're going to try and use the 77th Brigade. They're going to try and use the PSYOPs. They're going to try and use artificial intelligence. They're going to try and control our money so they can control us. No, you've had too much meat, John. Your carbon footprint is too big. Oh, whoops. Carbon footprint? Oh, yeah. Global climate change is a fucking hoax. It's been exposed and they're admitting it. Does that mean they've given up as Bob Hunter wants them to? The answer is no. All they will do is regroup and find some other way to tax the shit out of you, to control your movement, your thoughts even. Wake up, folks. People out there, I'm not the only one. A lot of us are awake. And it is up to us, me and you, to wake up friends, family, loved ones, co-workers, everyone you can. Not everyone will wake up to the level you are, but people are going to wake up, and it hurts, folks. It's like either a cup of ice water on your face or a bunch of ice cubes dumped in your pants. It hurts. Anyways, Bob Hunter, thank you so much. Folks, we're right at 400 people live. This is a great turnout. We're back on X, The Prepared Mind on YouTube. The Prepared Mind on YouTube. Oh, if you want to do a super chat, the only way you can do that super chat on YouTube is if you're on The Prepared Mind that has 4,900 subscribers. The 80,000 subscriber YouTube, actually now it's 79,900. That YouTube is not monetized for the time being. So if you want to do super chats, get on the screen, support the channel, buy me a scotch, or at least make sure that the lights stay on. Through your great support, you got to go to the other YouTube channel. But they're both called The Prepared Mind. And in fact, there it is. That's the one we want to use. I'm going to show you on X, the proper Prepared Mind. X is at My Prepared Mind and has this symbol. That's the one. This symbol right here of John wearing a Hawaiian shirt with a 1911. That one right there, that's the X icon. In any event, folks, also I want to thank www.cafefe.com, the deplorable coffee, very patriotic coffee. My coffee, I'll be having a big cup of it tomorrow when I go back to work. Let's do this. Let's have some more fun. I know we've got some more super chat donations. We got some more people wanting to talk and get on here. I tell you. Let's do it. Who's up next? Jolene, Mr. Uman. We've got a big week in front of us. We got Dan the Man Erickson out of the great state of Washington in USA. $5 super chat. And he says, John, I hear you're going to get a bunch of New Yorkers moving down there pretty soon. Down there means Florida, folks. I relocated from California. Thank you, Jolene. To the RMZ and then to Florida to fight this battle, this information battle, this psychological warfare battle. Everything is a battle. It's a food battle, an energy battle. It's a battle for our freedom. Anyways, New Yorkers wanting to move down here. Yeah, the real estate agents over in the Miami area have decided, yeah, they've got a new wave coming. The New Yorkers like the East Coast more. It seems like the Midwest and Chicago likes the West Coast over there more. So, yeah, interesting. Now, I got a hold of some real estate people since I'm in the construction industry. And what they let me know is, well, the people that want to come here basically already have. The rich people had second homes down here already, apparently. But, yeah, there are going to be new people coming here. It is going to be a much smaller wave, but it's a wave nonetheless. Those who were left in New York after the COVID exodus and other Joe Biden exodus, and then the Mayor Eric Adams of New York City exodus. Now we've got communist Muslim, who, by the way, likes to hang out with Jews a lot. Pictures of him wearing a little hat, a little kippah hat on the back of his head. There's a lot of pictures wearing one of those. That's kind of strange for a Muslim, don't you think? Kind of strange for a Muslim. But those who could have left New York wisely already have. Those that are left are going to leave in an act of desperation. Instead of having two houses and they just move down here to their second house or their vacation home, they're going to have to try and sell what they have up there. It's not going to be pretty for them, folks. It's going to be a mess, especially if everything happens as we suspect. We've already had cars lit on fire and exploded. We have Muslims now singing in the fucking subways. They're ridiculous. And people telling him to shut the fuck up. That's happening. We have a lot. They're praying in the middle of the streets. They're trying to take over. They're trying to show Muslim dominance because Zohran Mamdani is pretending to be a Muslim. Strange business, folks. Strange days. Right? These illegals are nuts, and they're more than happy to see more control. Oh, my God. Yeah, New Yorkers. They're not going to like what's there. A lot of people say, hey, the people that are left in New York don't have any choice. They might start fighting back. Well, I tell you what, I got my beer, I got my popcorn. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to see if New Yorkers are every bit as tough as they claim. I'm going to see if they won't take shit just like they claim. I'm going to see if they can clean up their own fucking house just like they claim. Or are these fucking international pieces of shit going to own that city? All right, Dan, great topic. We're going to find out. We're going to find out how many come, how many stay, how many wish they could go, and how many are going to be just left behind. Okay, Jolene, what do we want to talk about next? We're doing great. Uman says all the financial retards and shills on the right, they're cheering Trump announcing 50-year mortgages. How is doubling the money you're paying back, driving real estate prices up, and still being responsible for the maintenance a good thing? Sounds like renting from the bank to me. Well, that's precisely what this is. In Mexico, if you want to buy a house as a non-citizen, you can't. You can do a 50-year lease. This has been the way it is in Mexico for decades and decades and decades and decades. You rent it for 50 years. In other words, you lose 2% a year to the government. And after 50 years, it's not yours anymore. In the United States of America, you buy a home and you're making payments, you are paying interest, and you're also paying property tax, approximately 2% a year. So after living in your house 50 fucking years, you have paid the government the value of the house to live there, and you paid the bank the value of the house to live there, and you've also paid interest. You guys know about the rule of 7? It has to do with investments. The rule of 7. Literally, the first 50% of the time that you're buying a house, all of that money that you're paying in form of a mortgage is just an interest. Just an interest. That's just a good number to go by. So, I mean, again, you buy a house at 8% in 7 years, right? The interest alone will fuck you over. And then the next 7 years, it'll happen again. And the next 7 years, it'll happen again, right? If you've got a 30-year mortgage, 15 years of that is just interest alone. In other words, you pay the government, you pay the buyer, and then you pay in interest. You bought that house 3 fucking times. At a 50-year mortgage, you're probably going to pay 4 times for that house. How is that the American dream? How is that freedom? How is that property ownership? Plus, hey, boy, as Uman points out, you're paying for the maintenance, the roof, the water heater, everything, the appliances, the flooring, the windows, everything you pay for the privilege of living in your own house, paying the government to do it with taxes, paying the bank 1 to 2 times the value of the house in interest alone, plus the principal. Principal is all we should have to pay. I'm going to tell you something here, folks. You want to make fun of Russia? You know that in Russia, if you have 4 children, your house is given to you free. For every kid you have, 25% of your house is paid off. Why are they doing that? To make sure that they have Russians who love Russia, participate in the Russian system, and live well, and own their own fucking homes. So they are stakeholders in the system. You know who the stakeholders are now in America? It's not me and you. We don't own shit. We don't own shit. We rent from the government. We rent from the banks. You got a car loan? No. That's a car rental from the banks. You're not a fucking stakeholder. You are a bag holder in America because of the Washington, D.C. people, and the same scum and mentality runs each state. And they tax the shit out of us. And the banks tax the shit out of us. And then when you die, you get taxed some more. Anyways, it is renting from the bank, Mr. Uman. It's renting from the government. We have more landlords and masters than any slave ever had in the 1800s. In fact, some might argue we have, well, a harder time at it. Uman says increasing car loans from 2 to 4 years to 5 to 7 years plus hasn't reduced auto loan defaults or repossessions. No, it won't, because they're charging more and more and more for cars. Hell, I remember as a kid, a new truck was $5,000. A new car was like 6 or 7. That was it. Times that by 10 or more now. If you made $10 back then, I mean, does everyone make $100 an hour? No. Right? It costs more to live. So they extended a 2, 3, or 4 year car loan to 5, 6, 7, or even more, so you can afford the payment that you should be paying for a 2, 3, or 4 year car. In other words, they're overcharging us. Why? Oh, taxes. It's all fucking taxes and tariffs and taxes and more tariffs. And maybe we'll talk about some more tariffs. I don't know what you want to talk about. This is the Prepared Mind channel. This is the zoo. It is Sunday Night Live, and this is your chance to share with the world everything that's on your mind or anything that's on your mind. Because we're live now, but this video will stay up on X. It'll stay up on the Prepared Mind on YouTube, on Facebook, on subscribestar.com, and our flagship internet station, the preparedmind.club, C-L-U-B. Also at the club, prepping items, food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, self-defense items, communications gear and equipment, solar panels, backup generators, batteries, etc. Anything you need for the coming bullshit we're going to deal with, get there. Start there. Shop prices, look around, whatever. I don't have a warehouse. I don't have a store. We don't actually sell anything. It's just a resource for you to click to go check things out elsewhere and find prices. There it is, the preparedmind.club. Thank you, Jolene, the prepared mother. All right, folks, I got to tell you, I've got a lot to talk about, but I want to get to your guys' comments all the time. We passed 400 people live. I want to hit 500 people on my ticker. On my screen, it's right up here in the corner. It tells me how many of you are here live at the moment. It is incredible for something that YouTube, Facebook, the federal government, Israel says no one wants to hear from you guys, but you do. And by the time we're done with this video, thousands of people will have watched it, and they can read your comments right on the screen. That's how you contribute. You can talk to each other in the chat section, the comments, or, right, you can get on the screen with your topic and help others wake up and take action. Jolene, who's next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got Northern Pike with a $2 super chat. And he says, hey, bring it. Satire and humor. From Northern Pike LZ. Thank you for the great chat. Super chat donation, $2. Pow. Well, that's a good one. Let's continue. He didn't have a topic other than satire and humor. Well, that's me. I'm a smart ass. But I bring you the facts. Let you decide what to do with them. But, oh, yeah, there's going to be people getting made fun of here because they're idiots. They are literally idiots, folks. Okay, Jolene, who is up next? I know we've got more out there. And we got, hey, Northern Pike again with a $5 super chat this time. He says, power good until current of much positive or negative energy is not handled properly. Well, I don't know how to answer that because it's more of a statement than anything. But does that apply to electricity? Does that apply to the government and its power? That's it. Yeah, power is good in the government's hands, is it not? Until, right, it goes from being positive to being negative. Instead of being constructive, it becomes destructive. What we've learned through history, not just recent history, but the last few centuries, as well as the last few millennia, is government. Whether you've got a Caesar or a religious leader like a pope, or whether you have a king or a democracy, those in power abuse it, destroy it, and cause failure. Now, we in the United States of America, through our Constitution, we've got what's known as a constitutional republic. That is not a democracy. A democracy is 5 wolves and 4 sheep voting on what's for dinner. Yeah, it's a 5-4 vote, and they say we're going to have mutton for dinner. One of the sheep gets killed and eaten. Now it's 5-3, right? Because the majority is getting free meals. They're going to keep voting that way. And so the 5 versus 3 becomes 5 versus 2 when they eat another sheep. So the 5 wolves are eating good because they're eating from the sheep that are producing. So then they vote again. What are we having for dinner? So the 5 wolves say sheep, mutton. And so they leave the last sheep there until all the sheep are dead, or the remaining sheep say, it's no fun being a sheep anymore, right? Good thing we have a Second Amendment. Anyways, yeah, that's what government does all the time. They promise free to everyone else. They say, we'll feed you, and we'll just make some of the population supply the food. After a while, the good people, Americans, you could say they're sheep. They go where they're told. They go here, they go here. They work here, they work there. They pay their taxes. They don't fight back. They don't make a lot of noise. They just do their jobs and stick around, and all the sheep keep the other sheep in line until they don't, and then they fight back, or the system just fucking collapses. Anyways, thank you, Northern Pike. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? It is your chance to get on the screen right here. So let's do it. And we got Cottage Farm checking in from the West Coast with a $20 super chat donation. And she writes, John, it's being forced on us. The police, the military are just going to follow orders. I think we might be too late. Well, I'm going to respectfully disagree and explain why it's not too late. Now, the police and the military follow orders. You bet they do. That's what they're good at. Take your badge and your gun, go get some traffic tickets. That's what they do. Now, about being too late is government doesn't seem to understand that the police and, yes, even the military have families. Meaning it's more than just a paycheck, because that's what the police and the military are there for. They're there to serve and protect and to collect that paycheck. And we say, why do you do this? Or why do you do that? Well, because those are the orders I was giving. So the police are used as the muscle and the threat of violence to make us behave, conform, obey. And if we don't, they'll stick a gun in our face. They'll handcuff us. They'll throw us in prison. Right? Because you disobeyed. Well, what has happened in the last 5 years to change that mentality? Well, what happened is the police and all of America realized that there aren't enough of them to control all of us. That they can be overridden. They can be swarmed. So I'm going to take us back to 2020 for this exercise, if you will. And in 2020, the police, all they could do is surround the police department and try and protect it. Surround courthouses and try and protect them. This is the Black Lives Matter riots. The Black Lives Matter chaos and mayhem, where they burned, looted, and murdered. Where Antifa came out and joined their homosexual transgender friends in BLM. Yes, that's a Marxist, communist, transgender group, BLM. That's what they are, folks. They call themselves Black Lives Matter. It's more like Butt Pirates Matter. Anyways, let us continue. The police learned that these kids coming out, these protesters, they didn't bring guns. They brought water bottles that were frozen. They brought some bricks. They did bring some lasers. Well, they brought, fireworks. They go kaboom. But they don't send shrapnel flying through the air to kill people. But they make a lot of noise. The police couldn't restrain them. They couldn't stop them. They couldn't get them. There's too many of them. They got overwhelmed. Imagine, if you will, 100 policemen surrounding the police station and 200 Antifa and BLM surrounding them with guns. How long would those police last? No. You see, they're not military. They're not combating these protesters or terrorists, if you will, in combat formation, right? They're not using squads and platoons and battalions and regiments. It's not that kind of thing. This is civilian law enforcement and crowd management. But if these lunatic protesters were shooting them, they'd quit in a fucking heartbeat. The ones that lived. And that's the conversation I've had with the police. And this is interesting. Cottage Farm is, by the way, from the West Coast. She says, I believe the high-up government allowed that to happen. You know, BLM and all, at least in Seattle, our government allowed that crap. Yeah, they allowed it. And it was a battle between these unarmed lunatics, and the police weren't allowed to shoot them. It wasn't quite war. But imagine if these lunatics, and they're armed now, folks. They're armed. These communist fucks, Antifa and the college kids and BLM, they're now armed. They've gone out and bought weapons. They've trained each other and gotten trained by people who shoot. They're not military grade by any chance. They're not paramilitary. They're not crack commando force. No, they're just a bunch of fruitcakes who want to cut off their genitals. But they're armed. If they started shooting police, that would be it. Now, the police I've talked to personally in the world I live in said the moment that the police start getting shot at is the moment they abandon their post. They go, they get their family, and they bug the fuck out. Now, they're going to bug out, according to the ones I've talked to, for the very reason that their neighbors know who they are and that they're police, and that others will find out that that house over there, or that house over there, or that house over there has law enforcement living in it. So you want your revenge? You go over there. And the police know that a lot of people don't like them and want revenge on them. That's what's going to happen, Cottage Farm. The police will bug out. They'll leave. They, the ones I talk to, have communities of other law enforcement where they'll put themselves together and protect each other. They'll stick together. But at the same time, they abandon us and they leave the public up there on the street. They leave the public to maintain its own law and order. That's you and me. Now it's us. For our family, our neighborhood, our communities, policing ourselves and protecting ourselves. Now, I know that they could send the military out. That's a little bit of a different animal, but still, right? They have family too. If you were in the military, how would you feel if you knew you were going into a town and that the people you were going up against were the family of other people in your unit, right? You don't know who and how and what and where and why. It's really not a great situation. Anyways, Cottage Farm, it is a great topic because it's one I think we're going to continue to have to deal with. These people out here that are fighting the cops and fighting ICE and fighting law and order, they're ridiculous. In fact, they're starting to become actors. Thank you, Cottage Farm. They're starting to become actors. And one of the things they're using is sympathy as they scream and yell, I'm an American, trying to get sympathy from other people watching. What else are they going to scream? Right? Oh, my sons, my daughter, my family, everyone's here. I've been here for 20 years. Oh, my God. And then now that we've also got them faking their mentally illness, physical illness, right? A man faked a seizure, shaking, faked a seizure as his illegal alien wife gets arrested. Right? She was going to get arrested. He starts faking a seizure. She throws the baby to him. He nearly strangles the baby doing his fake seizure. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the man was in the car with the child and the illegal alien wife. Oh, by the way, the illegal alien wife, whose name was Juliana Malena Ojeda Montoya. Juliana Malena Ojeda Montoya. Yeah, sounds American to me. She was wanted for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. She stabbed her fucking co-worker twice with a pair of scissors and threw a trash barrel at her. Sounds like a great contributor, right? Oh, is she a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, an astronaut? No. She's an illegal alien who's fucking violent as fuck, and that's how the DHS got turned on to who she was. She fucking stabbed someone twice with scissors. Yeah, that's a nice lady who then throws the baby to her husband, who's faking a fucking seizure, nearly kills the baby, and the Democrats are going nuts. Right? They're going absolutely nuts. The Democrats believe this whole thing was real. Oh my God, the police caused him to go into a seizure. The baby almost died. She's just trying to make a living. No, she's a fucking violent, illegal alien. Right? Violent. Stabbed someone with scissors. And then wanted to fight law enforcement. Lie, cheat, steal, everything. Yep. That's who we're up against. Uman says, news said it wasn't fake. I saw it on TV. It must be true. Yeah, you never hear the rest of the story. Thank you, Mr. Uman. Yeah, wild stuff. Anything they can do to get out of trouble. Anything they can do to not have to get a job. Anything. Right? They have poisoned the United States of America and Europe and Canada and Australia with the notion that the government has money, everything should be free. Let everyone in the country will pay for them. No law and order. Just whatever you want to do. Right? You want to be a Muslim and run over everyone? Right? It doesn't matter. Like our country, there's a huge first for America, a huge push for America first. America first, our country, a nationalist view. Folks, in other countries, they're nationalists. The Chinese, China first. Israel is Israel first. But America first? Oh, no. That's anti-Semitic. I don't care about Israel. I care about my nation and my people. If Israel can make themselves first, why can't we? Why is America first anti-Semitic, folks? But Israel's claiming they are superior. They openly proclaim that they're superior and they are absolutely racist and anti-white, anti-black, anti-American, anti-humanity with their bullshit. Why do they get to be their country is the only one that matters, but America, no. Or Canada, no. Or England, no. It's all about destroying us. But there's one country that is not allowing immigrants in. It's Israel. Why is Israel so special? Because they say so. And you're supposed to feel guilty about saying anything bad about Israel, right? You're not supposed to talk about fags. That's homophobic. You're not supposed to talk about Islam. That's Islamophobic. But folks, you talk about the Jews, and that's anti-Semitic. That's it. It's anti-Semitic, and that's the bad one. That's the line you're not allowed to cross. A lot of people believe that's the line that Charlie Kirk crossed. He started criticizing Israel. Well, Israel is special, folks, because they say so. And for no other reason than that. Their reason is, well, the lie that God chose them. And somehow their God approves of their murder, their pedophilia, their lying, their theft, and their rape. Literally, folks, that country loves rape. In fact, I read a thing the other day. I think 1/3 of all female soldiers in the Israeli military are, victimized by rape. America first, folks. I don't want the views and the morality of Israel or the Muslims or even Europe. We are America and America first. Okay, that's my rant for that moment. Let's continue if we shall. Do not be ashamed of who you are. I don't care what your skin color is. Don't be ashamed of it. Be proud and be an American. Freedom and be an American. Oh, there's a lot of questions. Why do these young people, half of them want socialism? Don't they realize that socialist governments murder their own people? No, they don't seem to know that. That wasn't part of their brainwashing and indoctrination, or they wouldn't accept it. If they said, look, support socialism and communism, and when we get it, we'll kill you and your family. No one would want that. So they don't talk about that. All right, let us continue. I think Jolene says we got another super chat out there. Let's have some fun. Who's up next? And it's Cottage Farm. Uh-oh. She says, John, I've had a lot to say. I've ranted. See prior messages. Godspeed. Well, we're going to start with a Glenfiddich because that's a $50 super chat and starting to get a little dry here. So thank you, Cottage Farm, for the great support. $50 super chats, folks. Buys a scotch, but all contributions keep the lights on. It keeps Spam, tuna fish in the pantry. Make sure, folks, that you are prepared for what's coming. We could lose power, fuel, or access to food for a week or 2 weeks or a month. That'll clear you out. Woo! Thank you, Cottage Farm. So when it comes to these prior messages, what are they? Aha! Cottage Farm says, these little mice and huge rats even chewed through my stored Mylar bags. Oofta. I'm a terrible prepper, but I shall try again. Mice, rats, awful pains in the asses. Yeah, I've had that. I've lost rice to the mice. Lost rice to the mice. You need to have things sealed and protected. And with respect to mice and other vermin, including insects, you need to keep your food dry. You need to keep it in a safe place that is as a constant temperature. The more constant the temperature, the better. And back when I owned a house and was paying thousands of dollars a year in fucking property taxes, right? I had a food storage area, and I was able to keep literally fresh vegetables, fresh and edible, for 18 months. My squashes, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, they got kind of a hard shell, but I was able to keep them fresh and edible for 18 months. Not just 6 months or 1 year, but 18 months, year and a half. And I knew that because I cut them open and made sure they weren't rotting on the inside by keeping the temperature pretty constant, keeping them dry, not overly moist, and keeping the pests away, as you're saying, rats, mice, right? You can have your food will last years and years and years. Now, canned foods, you need to rotate. It's a great idea to rotate your food. Buy what you eat for prepping and then eat your prepping and replace it. But know that what you pay for today in a year could be 5, 10, or 20% higher the next year. Inflation. Your food is literally an investment. The only time it becomes a bad investment is when the fucking rats get it. And they can chew through all kinds of stuff. So it's best to make sure they can't get to your goodies. Same with fuel. Everything you have. Protect it like it could save your life because, well, it can. Thank you, Cottage Farm, for that. And that is the lesson. You don't give up. You don't quit. You keep going. And that's how this goes. Let me bring that up. Speaking of that, in Vietnam, we lost 65,000 Americans. Right? Many more were injured badly. The communists, the estimates are we killed 1 to 2 million communists in Vietnam. We outgunned them. In the lowlands and the cities, we had tanks. We had airplanes, jets, right? We had artillery. We had spy planes, spy birds. We had recon out there, force recon. We had the LARPs, the LERPs, not the LARPs, the LERPs. We had the Rangers. We had all of these guys. We had Mac VSOG. Everyone was fighting. Everyone was killing. Why did we lose? Because the communists won through attrition. It was too expensive to fight them. It took too much energy. We lost too many people. We gave up. The country did. And the communists won Vietnam. They won the country. Right? We won the battles, but they won the war. Rules of engagement. Then there's that. It's another issue that's become more and more, shall we say, cantankerous. We'll just use that word. Rules of engagement. The way they engaged in that war, started fighting guerrilla war. That's why the Soviets lost in Afghanistan. And that's why our country pulled out of Afghanistan and quit. Can't win fighting that way. The only way to win fighting a war is to crush the enemy, see them driven before you, and to literally drive everyone off the battlefield and just completely crush and destroy a country. War is hell, folks. And that's what the leftists are doing in SHTF. They're doing it with psychological war, medical warfare, you bet, information warfare, educational warfare. Everything is warfare against us. Our food, our water, our real estate, religion, everything is warfare now. And the idea is to wear us down and make you quit. Think you can't win. Make you believe the police or the military or the Muslims or the terrorists or the fucking drug dealers or the trannies are going to win and that we can't defeat them. Well, I don't have a whole lot of quit in me. Let's move on if we shall. Jolene, it is Sunday Night Live. If you've got something to say, we got a super chat button right up there. We'll get you on the screen down here. Who's up next? We've got Big Dan the Man, Dan Erickson, with a $20 super chat donation. By the way, Big Dan, get ready for silver and gold to start popping again. Silver, by the way, folks, silver, metal, silver coin. It went from being money to just being silver to being used industrially. And now the United States government, as well as since the U.S. government, other governments are doing the same. So just last Friday, the government finally came out and said silver is now a strategic metal. It's a critical metal. It's a critical mineral. In other words, the country can't live without it. Now, we also have a strategic petroleum reserve. That is millions and millions and millions and millions of gallons of oil and fuel that the government stores just in case we have a war or a problem or an issue. It's a reserve to help the country get along in times of need, times of emergency, times of chaos. Well, silver for us was money. Same with gold. For business, it is a rare and unique metal that cannot be substituted. It is the second most useful thing on the planet besides oil, with hundreds and hundreds of applications. But to the government, not only is not only is our economy important and silver's use in that, but it's in huge demand and need for nuclear reactors, which they're pushing for so they can power their artificial intelligence, and also weapons. You see silver's ability to be used in batteries, electronics. It is extremely valuable and cannot be substituted. You can either have 30 pounds in a Tomahawk missile of silver being used, which makes it good. Or you can have, instead of 30 pounds, how about 300 pounds of copper in a missile? It's going to affect your entire functionality, ability to get there, the speed of the rocket, everything. Silver's needed. I think that we're going to see an explosion in price. It's going to get interesting, Big Dan. Uman says precious metals have opened up overseas. Silver is up 0.75%. Gold is up 0.33%. And that's the very quiet opening overseas. So right now it's Sunday in America. It's already Monday in Australia, in Japan, China. Yes. So they're already trading. Anyways, let's get back to Big Dan, the man, with his super chat donation. He says the Democrats blaming Republicans for the shutdown is absurd. I agree. Only 7 Democrats are needed to open the government. This has not affected me, and this is Dan speaking. This hasn't affected me at all because the government does nothing for me except take my tax money. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And I've got some news for you, Big Dan. The government's going to continue to take your money and mine by force. But more to the point of the shutdown, it is absurd. The government is still spending money. The government still has contracts with private corporations that it has to pay on. It has contracts and agreements with other nations it has to pay on. If you think they're not getting paid and won't get paid, you got another thing coming. Hell, they may even give them a bonus by the time they give them all their money back. But the government, yeah, it is absurd. Chuck Schumer, jackass extraordinaire. Chuck Schumer tried saying, just give us what we want and we'll negotiate how to fix this later. No, sorry, fuck you. But now there are enough Democrats out there who are bending to the pressure. Their constituents are screaming and yelling. Their welfare recipients are very upset they're not getting their SNAP, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program money. Their welfare money. They're not getting it. And so these Democrats are under a lot of pressure. 7 of them switch over to the Republicans and everything's taken care of. I expect that to happen this week. That is my personal forecast, not influenced by anyone for or against it. I just have a feeling that they've had enough. The one thing, the wild card in this, is none other than the Jeffrey Epstein client list and files. The Democrats are saying, release the files. Okay, I'm all for that. Republicans don't want to release the files. They don't even want to vote on it. If we go back into session because the Democrats capitulate to the Republicans and open the government back up, that means Congress has to go to work. Oh, yeah, we all know. Speaker of the House can call for a recess. They can go back on vacation again. These fucking people have done less than they normally do. They've also been passing less laws, but it doesn't matter. Lawyers right now in Washington, D.C. know they're going to get paid. Whether it's next week or next month, they don't care. They're going to get paid. They're busy writing laws, folks. They're crafting all kinds of laws to take your money, tell you what to do, fuck you over, and try and ruin America. That's our lawyers. The shysters that they are. They are just that, folks. They're a bunch of scumbag shysters. Have no doubts. Oh, I tell you, folks. They're a bunch of shysters and they're a bunch of socialists. In fact, there's a Newsmax documentary series called Newsfront, and it's going to premiere its next episode called Marxism in America. Marxism in America. That's tonight. It's probably on right now. But on John Max. Sunday Night Live. My multi-year series is, well, it's being covered on all the Prepared Mind Network. And I want to continue to put on a clinic as to why America First is our salvation politically, spiritually, and religiously, monetarily, everything. America First. The primary thing we have to do is destroy communism, Islamism, and Talmudism. We need those out of America. so we can get back to freedom and prosperity. And you can watch Newsmax later. All right, Jolene, let's have some more fun. Who's out there on the Prepared Mind channel wants to get on the screen? And it's Viking Boomer with a $20 super chat donation. And he says, I'm not much looking forward to Remembrance Day this 11th. I don't even think I can wear a poppy. I don't think our war dead fought for open border, third world mass migration. Okay. Tuesday, the 11th. For us in America, the USA, is Veterans Day. November 10th is Marine Corps birthday. That's tomorrow. But Veterans Day, Remembrance Day, they're celebrating that in England as well. Everyone has their version of it. But England, France, America, Canada, Australia, did we fight to the death to destroy fascists, Nazis, just to hand our countries over to a bunch of third world fucking inbred scumbag retards? Did they fight and die so that this country can submit itself to being ruled by England or Israel? By England, I don't mean the crown or the people. I mean the banks, the city of London. Is that what our forefathers, our grandfathers and great-grandfathers fought for? You imagine them just fighting to the death and then learning as soon as the war is over that they're going to hand this country over to a bunch of Middle East freaks from Palestine and Israel to Egypt and fucking Libya and Somalia and Yemen and every worthless backwater Muslim country. Is that what they fought for? I know what you're talking about. And then to win one war just to invite an enemy, not to fight us somewhere else, but to fight us within our own country, to fight us within our own government, for our children to fight for their lives in school. I did not, nor did my parents, nor my grandparents and great-grandparents join the military and fight the enemy just so pedophiles from the Middle East can run our government, either elected or behind the scenes through the banking cartels, through the lobbyist and lawyer organizations. That's what this America First push is about, folks. It's about putting our countries first. I think there should be a UK first, an England first, a Canada first. We need to stop letting these third world scumbags tell us what we should believe and then shaming us. Well, folks, in Canada or the UK, you can be fucking arrested for it, for coming out and speaking against it. Even if you're an elected politician and you're supposed to be allowed to talk about laws and rules and policies, they still get threatened and arrested. Unfucking believable. But they're doing everything they can to just do that, folks. Infiltrate legal organizations like the ACLU, Southern Poverty Law Center. That's not American. That's Israel. That's fucking Israel. Our churches, they're not Christian anymore. Not all of them. Not all are bad, folks, but not all are good. Get this. ACU, or rather Abilene Christian University. That sounds like it's Christian, but is it? You know what that university has ruled? They have decided that their policy is that calling abortion murder is hate speech. Hate speech. Two things on this. Number one, this is not a Christian college. To Christians, life is supposed to be sacred. The violent medical procedure called abortion, there is nothing in the Holy Bible about abortion good, abortion allowed. To go against that is hate, right? No, there's nothing Christian about abortion. Number two, I want you to understand from a psychological perspective. Once again, got your British psychological warfare units, your American, your Canadian, right? See how the language is being hijacked and new meanings are attached to words. Unwanted words are being called hate. Saying abortion is murder. How is that hate? As if a crime has been committed and property or people are being damaged? No, they've hijacked the language. First they said hate speech is wrong and it's a crime. And then they go, well, you say anything against Israel, that's a hate speech. Say anything against abortion, that's hate. Say anything against transgender, that's hate. Say anything against Muslims, that's hate. No, it's not hate. It's called those things, those ideas, and those people are anti-American. They're anti-life. They're anti-value. They're anti-Christian. Right? Abortion, folks, murders unborn children. And communists murder living people. Well, rather, adult people. Communists murder our language. And fake Christians, in my opinion, they're slaves to the devil. That's right. The old Satan himself, right? That old pointy tail, pitchfork having horn dude, right? He's got Christians in America now saying it's hate speech to say abortion is murder. How much more fucking evil can you get? How much more evil can you get? Unbelievable. I tell you what, Boomer, it's Remembrance Day. Honor those who served and have fallen, and then we get to take up and continue to carry the banner of freedom and honor them, not just with a day, but with our actions and our lives, good sir. Right? You went all the way to England from Canada, I believe, to help them with their protest, to help them stand up to evil. It's not a one-time event. Right? To win a war, you don't need to win just one battle. You need to win all the battles you can. And wars aren't over in a day or a week or a month. Wars last years. And the more important a war, the more dedicated everyone is to fighting and winning, the longer it's going to last. Which is why we have years, if not decades, in front of us to destroy, absolutely defeat our enemies. And we're not going to defeat our enemies easily. We're not going to defeat them with ideas because they're not into ideas. They're into dogma and propaganda. They are propagandized and brainwashed. They are indoctrinated fools. They won't go away based on an argument. If you watch protesters, when they lose an argument on the street, they start screaming and becoming violent. They scream and become violent because they do not have a logical, common sense thought in their fucking heads. They won't. And so they will attack and insult, right? They have to be literally defeated. Everyone has to be defeated. The fucking communists, the Marxists, the fascists, the foreigners, the religious fucking fools out there. I'm not talking about the religious Christian fools. They're just part of the problem. We've got other fools too. We got people supporting Israel, which hates Christianity. There's more Christians out there that believe we're supposed to support Israel. That is not Israel. They're Israelis. They're not a religious group of people. They are a secular state that has adopted the Talmud as their religious teachings. They're not Israel from the Bible. They're the synagogue of Satan that Christ talked about. The Muslims, there's a joke about Muslims that's been around for centuries and that they are God's fools, right? In other words, they've fallen for a religion that's manufactured and made up. It's bullshit. It's not even a religion. What Islam is, according to many experts, it is a political system hidden, couched within a so-called holy book that teaches them and instructs them to fight and attack everyone and everything until there's no one left to fight and attack. In other words, it is about violence, murder, and domination of everyone else. Wow. Hey, thank you, Mr. Viking Boomer. And Jolene, who do we have next on the Prepared Mind channel? We got lots to talk about. And here we got Northern Pike with a $10 super chat. And he says, I love it. Do you know how the mind works with Glenlivet's or Beer 30? Much love. Let's direct the power to heal the ill. Misdirected energies. God bless. Yes, I appreciate that, Northern Pike. Hey, I've got to tell you, having a couple drinks does kind of loosen the gears up so they spin a little more freely. It doesn't strip the teeth off of them unless I have too much. Thank you, Jolene. But here's the deal. This is how I look at it. And this is just me. Everyone is fucking uptight as fuck in this world. They're afraid of their boss. They're afraid of their spouse. They're afraid of their family. They're afraid of their coworkers. They're afraid of what the government thinks. They're afraid of what church thinks. They're afraid of what the Jews think or the Muslims think. They're afraid of what other countries think. They're afraid of what businesses think. They're afraid of what their banks think. They're fucking afraid. Stop being afraid. Do not live in fear. One of the ways to not live in fear is what a lot of people call liquid courage. Little vitamin A, little alcohol, right? Alcohol lowers your inhibition. That can be a very dangerous and bad thing, especially if you've got a vagina, right? You lower your inhibition, you're going to end up going home with the wrong guy, if you know what I'm saying. You don't want that, right? But apart from that, making bad decisions, drunk driving, dangerous, all that stuff, bad, no doubt. I won't make any apologies for that. But if you've ever sat down with businessmen, philosophers, doctors, I have all these people in my wheelhouse of contacts, people I do things with, I work for, I work around. Have a drink, and you'll be surprised at what starts being discussed. You have a couple drinks, and it loosens up people's minds. It lets their gears start turning, and their inhibitions come down a little, and they're willing to talk about stuff. Sit down and have a drink. Have a Glenlivet, have a Glenfiddich. You're drinking, you say, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? What do you think of, right, anything? And if they're intelligent, they'll have a talk. How the mind works when you let down your guard a little bit and can express yourself without fear. See, fear is what they use to control us. So what does that tell you? Get rid of the fear. Stop being afraid, and they lose their fucking control. Right? How do you go into, as a soldier or a Marine, how do you go into war and do your job if you're paralyzed with fucking fear? Well, number one, you believe that you can kill everyone and everything that comes in front of you, right? Right? You train and train and train, and then you learn to act on that training, and you practice and act and practice so that when you finally get to that point where you're meeting the enemy on the battlefield, you don't think about the fear. You think about doing your job. You think about the ideas in your head, the training. Same with all things politic, all things education, all things military, all things religious, all things whatever. Alcohol removes inhibitions. It takes away the fear. I'm not saying get smashed out of your fucking mind. Have a drink. You're like, hey, I feel pretty good about this. Let's talk. Let's think. Right? And when you think and you talk and other people think and talk with you, yeah, you can heal the misdirected energy that's out there. I know it sounds funny. I know it sounds odd. Stop being afraid, whatever it takes. Start acting on your own behalf, on the behalf of your family and your country. America first. Don't let them cower you. Don't let them destroy you. because that's what they want. They want you afraid so you don't act. They want you cowering so they can dominate you. Thank you, Northern Pike, very much. I've been here, folks, since December of 2013, talking to all of you. Well, since we quit keeping track, well over 20 million hours have been viewed on this channel. Not 22,000 hours. Hell, that was before I went to the RMZ. We had over 20 million hours logged in of people watching these videos. That's a lot of people out there watching today, tomorrow, next week, etc. Videos from last year and the year before, unless, of course, YouTube's erased them. But that's just it. That is just it. I haven't been afraid to come on here and talk. Now, I'll tell you what. I did have fear. Don't you talk about the fucked up Republicans. You got to stay on your side and always protect them. No. Now I criticize. Trump, you fuck up, I'm criticizing. Congress, the Senate, you're fucking toast. You guys are assholes unless you do right things. Hey, do things right, I give you credit. Do things wrong, I'm going to fucking criticize you, and the whole world's going to hear it. Our greatest ally. Who? I didn't want to talk about Israel and Jews and the Khazars and fucking history and the fact that they've gotten kicked out of 100 countries over 1,000 times in the last 1,000 years. That's getting kicked out of a lot of countries every fucking year. Why? An American congressman, a big fat slob, piece of shit named Randy Fine, I think is his name, out of Florida, no less, got up on the stage in front of a microphone talking to all of his Israeli buddies, said, we've been kicked out of so many countries and it's never our fault. You're the common denominator. Could it be your morality, your ethics, your business practices? Could it be your religious tenets? Could it have something to do with using your teeth to bite the foreskins off of men? Good God. These people are fucked in the head. Don't talk about them, though. And I realized they're controlling me with fear. They're controlling my speech because I can't say anything because of the Holocaust. Because 6 million Jews were cooked in ovens, according to the people that survived being cooked in ovens. They haven't found the bones. You know, there's so much about that story is bullshit. The number, for one. The way it was done, another. The witnesses that said that never fucking happened. But they use fear. How dare you question the Holocaust? 6 million Jews died. This coming from people who lie all the time. Benjamin Netanyahu, since the 1980s, the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, the teens, then here now we're in the 2020s. This guy is still claiming that he owns and runs and controls the United States government. It's not your ally, my friends. It's not an American. I say America first. All right, folks, hey, get this. We've gone an hour and 45 minutes here on the Prepared Mind channel. This Sunday night live, it is the zoo. And apparently, according to Jolene, we've got more super chats, more topics from you guys. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Jolene, who's next? What do we got? And it is, holy cow, Blue Cord Devil, $50 super chat donation. And as you guys know, that means I get more. Well, Liquid Courage, another 18-year single malt scotch. Glenn Fiddick. Woo-hoo-hoo. It just, you know, like the captain said in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, right? This bottle contains fighting spirits. Oh, what a movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Blue Cord Devil, thank you, sir. God bless you. He says, please raise your glass, everyone, for my dad, Army infantry veteran grandfather, great-grandfather. 1 in a million, all-around great men. He has gone home and is at peace. Semper Fi. I think a lot of us, if not all of us, have military in our family that have fought and died for freedom, for liberty, for the Constitution, for America, for their families, for what they believe in. I've had people in this country and my family since the early 1700s, through the Revolutionary War, through the War of 1812, on to the Civil War and other wars. World War I, my middle name is the same as my great-great-grandfather's brother who fought. I have had family members. My grandfather fought in World War II. My uncle did 2 tours in Vietnam as a jarhead. Right? We've all got veterans in our family. It's that important. And people that choose to serve do so not to benefit Ukraine, not to benefit NATO and the European Union. Who gives a shit about that? It's about our country and our people and our freedom. And we've gone and fought in other wars around the world, our people have. Because the concept of freedom is one that if it's not defended, it can be lost. And if the whole world was, well, run by tyrants and we were the only free country, well, we'd have an awful lot of enemies, wouldn't we? So we promote freedom and help freedom where we can. But at the same time, there are evil people out there that want to use that willingness to fight for freedom for their own benefit. And I've been talking about those people a lot as of late. NATO and the European Union, Israel, Ukraine, they all want to use the United States of America for their benefit. I think the people here have had it, and we want America to be put first. Our veterans need to be taken care of, folks. Our homeless need to be taken care of. Our families need to be taken care of. The government is an out-of-control monstrosity of evil, and it needs to be shoved back in the fucking genie bottle and fucking welded shut. But that's not how government is. So we've got to continuously fight for our freedom and liberty at home, folks. We can't go fight around the world for freedom if we don't have it at home. And it's looking more and more clear to me that we do not have freedom at home. Instead, we have domestic enemies at home. Just like Canada has domestic enemies. Just like Australia has domestic enemies. The European Union, every country there has domestic enemies, and they're trying to destroy themselves and each other. And I tell you, crazy business. Oh, by the way, Viktor Orban of Hungary, meeting with Trump. He wants freedom, and he wants to keep his country free and protected. Interesting stuff. Thank you, Blue Cord Devil. Jolene, who's up next on the Prepared Mind channel? We've got just a little bit of time left, and good golly, it's Cottage Farm. Ruh-roh. You know what this means? Another $50 kabam super chat donation, and that means I get another scotch and another great, great topic. I've actually spoken with Cottage Farm when I was doing Prepper Coach, which was I would actually get on the computer and do a live video chat with people and spend time with them. Talk about what's going on in their world, what matters to them. You know, sharing thoughts and ideas and, well, a little bit of camaraderie as well. Cottage Farm was one of those. Thank you for always supporting the channel, Cottage Farm. I appreciate it. I must say, it's a damn fine scotch. Cottage Farm writes, let's say Seattle wins the Islam domination. Well, I think, I'm safe in my little town until I note the Muslim restaurants in my own small little town. Folks, we are surrounded, and liberals are idiots. Emphasis mine. Liberals are idiots, folks. They really are. This is what I have to say. Never, ever, ever, ever believe a Democrat is decent or truthful. They're hypocrites and they're pedophiles. Right? We've talked about the Muslims, Islam. Pedophilia is in their blood. They'll marry little girls, folks, because Muhammad married a 9-year-old girl, so it must be okay. They will rape little girls, teenagers, and also little boys and teenage boys as well, because they're not Muslim. And so therefore, their book says go ahead and kill, rape, steal, whatever. That's their belief systems, right? Democrats are hypocrites, and they're also pedophiles. So they have a lot in common with Muslims, don't they? They have a lot in common with Israel that also believes that sex with children is just fine. Some sick shit, right? I'll prove it. Folks, a Democrat politician in Texas, a Senate candidate, talked shit and lectured Republicans about Christianity. This piece of shit in Texas has been caught. This super Christian Democrat. Remember, Christian Democrats believe in abortion. Yeah. And that you can be gay, and God loves that. You can be a transgender. Anyways, this super Christian guy was following porn stars, hookers, escorts, and OnlyFans models, right? Every single time. That's Democrats. So in a state like Washington, an area like Seattle, they've invited these people in. They've given them safe passage, safe harbor, sanctuary, because they're illegals or they're anti-American and they're scum. They've allowed them to take root, give them property, give them homes, give them businesses, and then they take over. And when their population gets to a certain level, they start making threats. They start getting violent. They start, like all other groups from the Middle East, folks, they start as victims. Everyone needs to feel sorry for them and give them victim status. And then when they get a little more money, a little more power, a little more population, they start to push their policies on everybody. And they always remind them of that victim status as they push their policies. And once they have a much larger percentage of population, well, they don't just push their policies, they make demands, always falling back on being a victim. Well, with the Muslims, though, once they get enough people, they don't just push their policies, they demand their version of government, Sharia law. And then they start telling people, you'll pay us a tax for not being a Muslim, or they'll just kill you. Meanwhile, their most radical retards out there are committing acts of violence, from assaulting people to stealing to raping and robbing and murdering. That's it. That's what these people are about. So, Cottage Farm, I'm very sorry that in your town, you actually have Muslim restaurants and Muslim people all over the place. They are your enemies, even though they're not stating it. And I know Muslims, folks. I know homosexuals. Hell, I even know transgender people out there in the wide world of Florida. You know what they don't do? They don't fucking talk about it. They keep quiet. They don't push their shit, not just with me, but anybody. They're just living their lives. That's great. But liberals are idiots, and they've allowed this to happen. And it gets to, well, what do they call that? An inflection point. The scales get tipped. The point of no return. And then it's just shit. It's the fan all the time. All the time. Anyways, thank you very, very much, Cottage Farm. And man, am I feeling the scotch now. Woo! Pew. Who's up next, Jolene? We've got, well, about 5 minutes left. And we got Northern Pike back again with a $5 super chat. And he's satire, think beer 30, wine, scotch, Noah and the Ark and the Storm. Well, tell you what, folks, being a prepper is kind of like Noah. You're not building an ark, but you're building a way to survive. The storm is upon us. And so you need to preserve life and yourself and that which matters. To Noah, it was saving all the animals, saving his family. And what else did Noah do? He preserved morality and decency, I think, right? That was the idea. God said, hey, dude, there's some water coming, man. Build an ark to save yourself. Put, what was it? Was it 7 or 11? Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. Of clean animals and 2 of unclean animals in your ark. And hang on, it's going to get wet. But, woo, we got trouble. Trouble coming. Northern Park, thank you for the great donation. And yes, the storm is upon us, folks. Shit has hit the fan. But it's not 40 days and 40 nights of rain. It's everything. We've been suffering under hurricanes, fire, disease, pestilence. We got the 4 horsemen all over our shit. Jolene, who's up next? What do we got? It is, holy cow. Blue Cord Devil is back again with another $50 super chat donation. And all of your super chat donations keep the lights on, the pantry full of, well, Spam, tuna fish, and prepper items like rice and beans. And always make sure you have lots of condiments, meaning mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, barbecue sauce, A1, spices. Have spices everywhere. No one wants to have the same flavored Spam every day, or chicken, or tuna fish. You need to be able to have good food if things get crazy. Anyways, Blue Cord Devil, $50 super chat donation, and he says, happy Marine Corps birthday tomorrow to all our beloved cran eaters. To all veterans, happy Veterans Day. Semper Fi, Blue Cord Devil, and all vets, all patriots, all sportsmen, everyone who's got vets in their family, everyone who has America in their heart and their soul. Semper Fi means always faithful, one and all. Amen. As far as crayons go, I tried telling my work, hey, look, Tuesday's Veterans Day, but Monday's Marine Corps birthday. I should just take a 96er. And they're like, no. We'll just get you a box of crayons to eat on Monday. You come to work. So, yes, I'll be getting up and going to work tomorrow. But I'm going to sleep well because of all of these great scotches and knowing that you are great Americans. We had an awesome turnout, 400 people live. Make sure you have hit the subscribe button. Go to thepreparedmind.club and be a premium member there. There's memberships on YouTube. But your support makes this show happen. And we'll be back 0 dark 30 in the mornings all week. And Monday through Friday, we do our afternoon show that's live for the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com members. Thank you, Jolene. The preparedmind.club. It's $2 a month. And it makes sure everything gets taken care of. You guys, there's enough of you that have done that. That is wonderful. There's something else I was going to say. Monday through Friday, you can join us live. Oh, and X. We now have control over X again. We have about, is it 6,000 or 8,000, whatever the 1,000 is, members, subscribers on X. You will now be back on and getting live broadcasts and follow my posts there. Folks, whether it's pro-America or anti-America, good for America, bad for America, I will hit the heart and repost. The reason being is that means I want you to look at it. I want you to read it, good or bad. If it's an interesting idea, a retarded idea, if I do that, it's because it's valuable information. We need to understand the enemy, understand the people around us, understand the world we live in. Just like on the show, I don't do stories on how great America is. I do stories on, oh shit, we better wake up and fix that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Chance favors the prepared mind. Thank you for all you guys do. Semper Fi, God bless. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Marine Corps birthday. God bless America. America first.